This week on Empowering Midlife Wellness, I'm talking about how to deal with the worst, awful, horrible stuff that happens in midlife. We're already going through menopause with hormone change, but this is also the time that our parents are getting sick and dying. Our kids are leaving, our jobs are changing, divorce is at the highest rate ever. Lots of stuff going on. I'm going to tell you a really easy way to manage that so you can always be okay, no matter what. And I mean, no matter what. Hi friends, and welcome to this week's episode. If you're just joining me, I'm Dr. Susan. I'm a board-certified gynecologist and certified menopause practitioner dedicated to taking care of women like me, that's women in midlife who want to feel great now and also feel great as we age. And that starts right now. I want to talk to you about just this amazing amount of stuff that happens at this time of life, right? If you are listening to this video or podcast, you're already in midlife. We're going through hormonal change. Not only that, but this is a time where our kids are maybe getting older and leaving. Our parents are getting sick and dying. Maybe our partnerships are ending. This is the biggest time for divorce between 45 and 55. We're starting to reevaluate what it is that we really want for the second half of life. Not to mention many of us are getting illnesses ourselves. You know, sometimes it seems like this just happens all at once, where I hear a bunch of this all at once. And I can tell you in this past month, it's been a lot between my friends, my patients, and I just want to acknowledge if you're going through one of these really tough transitions that number one, you're not alone. And number two, I have a way of dealing with it that has actually worked really well for me. And I've been teaching it to my patients and clients, and I wanted to teach it to you because it's so super simple and you can teach it to your kids. And this can help you to get through the shittiest shit times, like the ones that would take you down and make you stay in bed and never get out of bed, which is an option, or to use that experience to grow from, to help make you the best version of yourself, because everything, even the worst things, and I'm going to tell you about some of those in a minute, are here for you to help you to become the best version of yourself. They might feel like they're here to take you down and take you out, but actually they are here for you so that you can learn a lesson to grow into the biggest version of yourself. Let's talk about some of those things. Okay, just amongst my own close friends and patients whom I've seen in the last month, well, I've had, let's just start with the smaller stuff. Patients who've been diagnosed with cancer. Well, that's pretty awful, isn't it? Patients who have something like rheumatoid arthritis, so they're not able to do the activities that they want to do anymore. One of my friends' patients who's been married for 30 years and has decided that she wants to leave that marriage to explore something else. That is a very difficult decision. A couple of people who have found that their relationship had some infidelity in it. One of them actually walked in on her husband in the act with a woman 15 years younger. These things happen. They happen. They're common. They feel like they're going to take you out, right? Another patient whose husband has Parkinson's disease. This is changing the whole course of her life. One who found out her oldest child has schizophrenia, has to deal with that. Most of us have parents who are sick and dying. I've had, can't count on one hand the number of friends and patients who have parents with Alzheimer's or other awful chronic diseases who are not only suffering from these diseases, but are dying from them. Okay, so let's not get too depressed, but let's just honor that at this time of life, this is happening. It's happening. We cannot avoid it. It will happen. Now, I certainly hope that you're not going to be somebody who walks in on their husband having sex with a younger woman, like happens, and this happens. I hope that these are smaller things for you, but you know what? You can handle anything, and I mean anything. There's not one single thing that is outside of the scope of what I'm about to tell you. Not even one. Not even one, not even that one that you're thinking about. Not even that. And here is what it is. We have a happy tank and a crappy tank. The happy tank is separate from the crappy tank. Okay, so my happy tank, I can fill it all day long, no matter what else is going on. We'll talk about that in a second, with Gratitude. Okay, what's in my happy tank? Well, first of all, I'm in this beautiful place right now. That's wonderful. It's great weather. I've got running water. I've got electricity. I've got good friends. I've got a soft cushion. I had a lovely breakfast. I've got a fantastic job. You keep on going. There's so many things. We're so lucky. We live in this country where we have some type of freedom. Lots of things. All right, so gratitude. Keep remembering what's happening so that you can fill your happy tank. Now, we can do that with our mind and then do things to fill your happy tank. Have fun. Be with people. Connect. I went on a funny boat ride the other day, and there's a crazy activity where you dive underwater. I jumped out of a plane a couple of weeks ago. Do things that will fill your happy tank, because your happy tank can always be full. Okay, now let's get to the other side. No matter what is happening over there, it does not matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but it doesn't change your happy tank if you had cancer, if your husband left you, if your child died, if your husband has Parkinson's, if you've developed rheumatoid arthritis so you can't do the activities that you want to, if you've decided to leave your husband of 30 years and you have no freaking idea what you're going to do next, if your fiance just left you in the middle of a movie and said, my bag is packed and I'm not going to talk to you again. That just happened to somebody that I know. Even if that's happening, that does not change the fact that you have a happy tank. Now, we are not living in toxic positivity world here. We're not saying these things are not happening and, oh, just be happy and no. What we're saying is there's both. You can simultaneously have a full happy tank and have the biggest pile of grief that you've ever experienced in your whole life. Yes, you can at the same time. You can be in the middle of the worst shitty shit that has ever happened and still have a full happy tank. You know why? Because they are separate. And I did not know this. I thought when something really awful happened, your happy tank drained and therefore you're miserable. And fair enough. Okay, that makes sense. But actually, your happy tank is still full. They are truly separate entities, and it's perfectly okay to be in the biggest pile of doo-doo and awfulness and horrible, awful grief and terrible, awful things, and still take a break and go over and play in your happy tank. Spend some time over there, because you know what? Tanks have a hole in the bottom. Both of them do. That crappy tank has a hole in the bottom, and if you give it some time, it's going to drain. Maybe it's not manageable right now. Maybe it's so full that you can't even look at it. You can't even put a toe over there, and that's okay, because your heart will tell you when you're ready to deal with that. So give it a bit of time. Give it a bit of time. That crappy tank will drain to a level where you can go over there and manage the things that you need to manage. You can go to the doctor's appointments. You can go to that lawyer. You can disconnect your finances. You can take your kid to the psychiatrist. You can take your parents to the Alzheimer's clinic. You can get yourself to the right doctor to take care of what you need for yourself. You can get to your psychology appointments. You can go to the gym. You can eat healthy food. You can do the things that you can do to manage the crappy tank. Maybe not all day. So you go over there for 5 minutes, do what you need to do, come back over and know that your happy tank is always there. Now, the happy tank has a hole in the bottom too. So you've got to keep filling it every day, every day. Take care of yourself. What does that look like? Well, I gave you some suggestions. So gratitude practice, for one, you've just got to remember that even when the awfulest things are happening, there's some amazing things happening too. In the world, the birds are still singing, the children are still playing, everything else is still happening. The world is still happening, even though these awful, terrible things are happening in your part of the world. And yes, they are. Remember, it's not all like that. There's another guest at the party, my teacher likes to say. All right? So there's still happiness present. Nothing can take that away from you. I don't care what your person that you love did, or what illness was bestowed upon you, or what happened with your kids. I do care, but that doesn't change the fact that there's still part of you that is deeply okay. Connect with the part of you that is deeply okay. That part is over there. And then when you can, come over, manage the crappy tank as much as you can. And over time, the crappy tank is going to drain, and guess what? It'll fill back up again, because this is life. There's cycles of stuff that happens. And if we don't realize that our happy tank is always present for us inside, not from outside, you don't need a Ferrari, you don't need diamonds, you don't need a special trip, you don't need anything to fill your happy tank except yourself. Okay, you got this. And I know so many of you are going through this because I talk to you every day. I see you are my patients. I am you. I know this. So that is the most important lesson I've ever learned. Your happy tank is separate from your crappy tank. It's always there. I hope you learned something today. If you did, please share it with your friends. And I can't wait to see you next week.